A reading from the book of Genesis, chapter 20. Abraham left there for the region of the Negev and settled between Kadesh and Shur. While staying in Gerar, Abraham said of his wife Sarah, "She is my sister." And Abimelech, the king of Gerar, had Sarah brought to him. But God visited Abimelech in a dream one night. "You are to die," he told him, "because of the woman you have taken, for she is a married woman." Abimelech, however, had not gone near her. So he said, "Lord, would you kill someone even if he's upright? Did he not tell me himself, 'She is my sister'? And she herself said, 'He is my brother.' I did this with a clear conscience and clean hands." "Yes, I know," God replied in the dream, "that you did this with a clear conscience, and I myself prevented you from sinning against me. That was why I did not let you touch her. Now send the man's wife back, for he is a prophet and can intercede on your behalf for your life. But understand that if you do not send her back, this means death for you and all yours." Early next morning, Abimelech summoned his full court and told them the whole story, at which the people were very much afraid. Then summoning Abraham, Abimelech said to him, "What have you done to us? What wrong have I done you, for you to bring such guilt on me and on my kingdom? You had no right to treat me like this." Abimelech then said to Abraham, "What possessed you to do such a thing?" "Because," Abraham replied, "I thought there would be no fear of God here, and that I should be killed for the sake of my wife. Anyway, she really is my sister, my father's daughter, though not my mother's, besides being my wife. So when God made me wander far from my father's home, I said to her, 'There's an act of love you can do for me everywhere we go. Say of me that I am your brother.' Abimelech took sheep, cattle, men and women, slaves, and presented them to Abraham, and gave him back his wife Sarah. And Abimelech said, 'Look, my land is open to you. Settle wherever you please.' To Sarah he said, 'Look, I am giving your brother 1,000 pieces of silver. This will allay suspicions about you as far as all the people round you are concerned. You have been completely vindicated.' Abraham then interceded with God, and God healed Abimelech, his wife, and his slave girls, so that they could have children. For Yahweh had made all the women of Abimelech's household barren on account of Sarah, Abraham's wife. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. I'm going to continue reading from the Psalms. We're going to read Psalm 20. Prayer for the King. This is a psalm of David. May Yahweh answer you in time of trouble. May the name of the God of Jacob protect you. May he send you help from the sanctuary, give you support from Zion. May he remember all your sacrifices and delight in your burnt offerings. May he grant you your heart's desire and crown all your plans with success, so that with joy we can hail your victory and draw up our ranks in the name of our God. May Yahweh grant all your petitions. Now I know that Yahweh gives victory to his anointed. He will respond from his holy heavens with great deeds of victory from his right hand. Some call on chariots, some on horses, but we on the name of Yahweh our God. They will crumple and fall while we stand upright and firm. Yahweh save the King. Answer us when you call. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. We're now going to continue reading from the Gospel of Matthew, parable of the labourers in the vineyard. The Gospel of Matthew, chapter 20. Glory to you, O Lord. Now the kingdom of heaven is like a landowner going out at daybreak to hire workers for his vineyard. He made an agreement with the workers for 1 denarius a day and sent them to his vineyard. Going out about the 3rd hour, he saw others standing idle in the marketplace and said to them, "You go to my vineyard too, and I will give you a fair wage." So they went. At about the 6th hour, and again at about the 9th hour, he went and did the same. Then at about the 11th hour he went out and found more men standing around. And he said to them, "Why have you been standing here idle all day?" "Because no one has hired us," they answered. He said to them, "You go into my vineyard too." In the evening the owner of the vineyard said to his bailiff, "Call the workers and pay them their wages, starting with the last arrivals and ending with the first." So those who were hired at about the 11th hour came forward and received 1 denarius each. When the first came, they expected to get more, but they too received 1 denarius each. They took it, but grumbled at the landowner, saying, "The men who came last have done only 1 hour, and you've treated them the same as us, though we've done a heavy day's work in all the heat." He answered one of them and said, "My friend, I am not being unjust to you. Did we not agree on 1 denarius? Take your earnings and go. I choose to pay the last comer as much as I pay you. Have I no right to do what I like with my own? Why should you be envious because I'm generous? Thus the last will be first and the first last." The third prophecy of the Passion. Jesus was going up to Jerusalem, and on the road he took the 12 aside by themselves and said to them, "Look, we are going up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man is about to be handed over to the chief priests and scribes. They will condemn him to death, and will hand him over to the Gentiles to be mocked and scourged and crucified, and on the 3rd day he will be raised up again." The mother of Zebedee's sons makes her request. Then the mother of Zebedee's sons came with her sons to make a request of him, and bowed low. And he said to her, "What is it you want?" She said to him, "Promise that these 2 sons of mine may sit, one at your right hand and the other at your left, in your kingdom." Jesus answered, "You do not know what you are asking. Can you drink the cup that I am going to drink?" They replied, "We can." He said to them, "Very well, you shall drink my cup. But as for seats at my right hand and my left, these are not mine to grant. They belong to those to whom they have been allotted by my Father." Leadership with service. When the other 10 heard this, they were indignant with the 2 brothers. But Jesus called them to him and said, "You know that among the Gentiles the rulers lord it over them, and great men make their authority felt. Among you this is not to happen. No, anyone who wants to become great among you must be your servant, and anyone who wants to be first among you must be your slave, just as the Son of Man came, not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." the 2 blind men of Jericho. As they left Jericho, a large crowd followed him. And now there were 2 blind men sitting at the side of the road. When they heard that it was Jesus who was passing by, they shouted, "Lord, have pity on us, Son of David!" And the crowd scolded them and told them to keep quiet. But they only shouted the louder, "Lord, have pity on us, Son of David!" Jesus stopped, called them over and said, "What do you want me to do for you?" They said to him, "Lord, let us have our sight back." Jesus felt pity for them, touched their eyes, and at once their sight returned, and they followed him. This is the gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.